Well, let's get right into this. Hope my voice holds up. I haven't actually eaten anything before the stream, so maybe that'll help. Okay, continue. Let's go. No, don't start now. I got water and all. Damn it, I didn't mean to push that button. I meant to push this button. So last time we learned a couple things about the past. We connected everything we need to know, and now we're trying to figure out like why. Oh no, we're trying to figure out what's happened in the past. We're still trying to establish a connection. Okay, in the cemetery 10 years ago, 10 years early. Yeah, 10 years early. The reason I was in Locate Cemetery 10 years ago was for a spot of moonlighting, shall we say. Yes, the illustration in the newspaper article was based on what I witnessed that night. But thinking back now, I realized that I never actually saw the professor. Soon afterwards, I was visited by a young woman who sculpted a model for me of me from wax. Then I gave up on my dream of becoming a scientist. It was all because of that newspaper article. Wait a minute! You're claiming you didn't actually see the professor now? Don't. Of course, you'd have to have a screw loose if you believed a corpse could come back from the dead. What? So you saying this article is not what the paper it's printed on? I think that would describe it perfectly, yes. The details in the article are true. It nullifies your argument for why Mr. Drebber and Dr. Scythe would have been working together. So he's discrediting himself to cripple my argument. Tell me, witness. You claim to have been there in the cemetery on some auxiliary business. Can you elaborate? That's right, grave robbing to be precise. As you know, Logate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. Among students at the university, it had a reputation for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. Grave robbing, you say? Yes, exhuming fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative. Of course, I never laid a finger on any valuables buried with the dead. So you were one of the so-called resurrectionists, particularly unpleasant scourge on society. Actually, my fellows and I went by another name. The repurposers. That's quite beyond the pale. You would have invited divine divine retribution, sir. I completely botched that. Yes, well, I think I suffered retribution enough. The Daily Circus eventually unearthed my name and put it in print. It caused me a great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave the university. That was the only paper with the bad grades to identify my unambiguously, I might add. I see. Might have botched the other sentence also, but I don't care now. Out of interest, who drew the illustration for this article? Ah, yes. That was the reporter who exposed me. He sketched that right in front of me as I described the scene. But that reporter just so happened to be... Obviously, as time ticked on, I bitterly regretted what I'd done. Claiming to have seen something I never truly saw. Foolish. Very foolish. Well, counsel for the defense. You may proceed with the cross-examination now. At once, my lord. I wonder if all this stuff about grave robbing is true, if there's some merit behind it. Well, I guess we'll find out That's the wrong button. I have 3 health. Oh, great.
Hold it!
By moonlighting, you need grave robbing, do you? Surely, you only need to look at the graveyard scene in my appearance to gauge the answer to that. Oh, jeez, I forgot you were here. I'm glad I looked. Lantern and spade. Who on earth would want to bury a dead body?
Anyone should. Any major hospital.
A hospital?
In order to better understand the human body, the study of anatomy is crucial to medical science. But there isn't a hospital in the world that has enough specimens to vertegrate. Though obviously they can't doubtly express an interest in obtaining more by dubious means.
As aspiring scientists, we young research students had no money to work with, and I'm sure you can imagine. So we made serendipitous arrangements with a hospital via some of our medical student acquaintances. We would never take anything of value from the graves. This was all for the furtherance of science, you see. So that's why we all told ourselves every time we stole into the graveyard at night, spade in hand. You realize body snatching is a serious crime. If you were caught, you could expect the gravest of consequences. The gravest of consequences, get it? We students were caught between the hammer and the anvil. We needed funds for research. Professor Harebrain's exactly the same. I'm quite speechless at the apparent levity at which you've revealed this abhorrent behavior. Well, if you wanted to know why I was there in Locate Cemetery, that's the reason. But I never expected it to end the way it did. That I regret to this day. Alright, let's continue on. Strange happening at Lowgate Cemetery, which you now deny. Not entirely. I ran to fetch the police at the time, you know. I was shaking like a leaf. But they didn't believe a word of it. In fact, I was very nearly arrested myself. So went to the papers instead. I started big with the London News, but unsurprisingly, they didn't want to know either. In the end, though, it was the reporters from the gossip rags, the gutter press, that came to get my story. And it spread like the plague throughout the capital, as gossip-hungry Londoners lapped up the tale. The story was in every single paper at the time, with the exception of some broadsheets. And yet, only 2 or 3 of them actually interviewed me personally. Most of the accountants turned out to be very interpretive ghost stories. What about the article in the Daily Circus? That particular journalist found me at my dormitory. I don't know how, but he discovered my name. So I recounted to him exactly what had happened that night. From your description, he drew this illustration. It's a little hard to read because of the way my text box is formulated, but I don't really want to change that. Precisely, that's how I learned that the condemned man was the infamous professor. Because the reporter told me so. I had no idea myself, you see. Newspaper reporters are one to snoop around at matters that don't concern them. The scene portrayed in the illustration is accurate then. Well, now we're going back to the statement.
Hold it!
And now I feel like he's lying. What are you talking about? I think I explained already, didn't I? Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned amongst the students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. For some absurd reason, I was scared of the graveyard at that night. And as a result, only too willing to believe the nonsense about the dead coming back to life. But you said exactly, you actually saw it. I said what I'd seen in my mind's eye. After all, resurrection is impossible, isn't it? You'd have to be unhinged to think otherwise. Unless, of course, you have some evidence that proves I captured the professor that night.
I don't know.
Is there any material evidence that could show he really did see the professor?
We haven't anything at all, Mr. Naruto.
I know, I need to present it against that irritatingly backtracking statement of his. The point is, that night was a pivotal moment in my life. Okay, well, I think I know what to do. But my voice is fine, so I'm gonna hear the rest of this.
Hold it!
The young woman would be Madame Tussbills, of course. Precisely. I must say, I didn't expect to run into her again like this 10 years later.
As I have explained, I went by the name published in the article and comes here, I found the man.
Yes, the article in the Daily Circus, I think you said. I was a poor student with barely a penny to my name at the time. And the young lady put 5 pounds in front of me. You really consented having a waxwork of yourself made and gave permission for it to be put on display. I did. I should sell what little I had to sell, I concluded.
I remember now. I purchased something else from you that day and insisted.
Did you? I can't say I remember. What was it, madam?
His camera.
Oh yeah, the camera. Ah! Oh yes, I made a point of taking it with me whenever I made an excursion into any cemetery. You took a camera with you, sir? To what end? I wonder what camera this could be. To record the details of the bodies I disinterred. But I had no intention of ever visiting a grave again after that night, so I sold it. I see.
What I still have, monsieur, is a part of the special exhibit in my house at Horrors. I am rarely meticulous about such details. It is the Tussbills way. You see, then, that this is the very camera Mr. Drebber took with him to locate cemetery on the night in question.
Yeah, and we know there's blood in it. Interesting. Okay, so it does still say that there's a dark stain. So I don't need to re-examine it. Well, it's a good thing I checked that.
Hold it!
This is why I check every statement sometimes. This article, you mean? Published in the Daily Circus? Yes, somebody informed me, the dean, that it was my name that appeared in the article. And carelessly let slip that night after night. I was digging up graves, hardly a mortal zooted, you might say. The university's reputation was execrably defiled. Except I'm just gonna skip it. And I was expelled as a result.
Monsieur, I had no idea.
Having been run out of university, you found employment in a somewhat specialist trade. He's not even gonna say a word about it. You combine your knowledge of science with the knowledge of stage magic to create various experimental machines intended to demonstrate never-before-seen technology. And you use those deceptive machines to trick the government and private investigators into giving you money. Professor Albert Airbrain was just your latest victim, wasn't he? Whatever are you talking about? I have no recollection of doing anything of the sort. She's not saying anything either. What's Drebber up to? Why would he suddenly change his tune to recant his claim?
I wonder if perhaps it's because the circumstances have changed now.
What circumstances?
Well, he admits to having seen the professor emerging alive from the grave 10 years ago. Or exposed a secret in Dr. Scythe's plan that she would desperately want to hide.
Yes, of course. If Drebber and Dr. Scythe are working together now, then if Drebber were to betray her, there'd be no reason for her to continue to cooperate. In that case, there's only one way around it. I'll have to prove he really did see it. Prove he really did see the professor's corpse coming from the back of the dead, as he originally claimed.
Yes, Mr. Narver, exactly.
Alright. Okay, so this is a statement for sure. I have a feeling it's the camera. Let me double check this. I know I've already checked this, but like I want to see exactly where the blood stain is. It's okay. So as soon as you open it, the blood stain is right there. Yeah, we've already examined. So you open the camera, the blood stain is here, and there's nothing else on the other side. There is a sliding panel on the back. Was it locked or something, or is it, no, you open it up and there's nothing there. Why can't I skip this? I already checked this. Huh. I guess that was technically new dialogue, but yeah, the thing's not there. So, if this is the professor's blood, like if he... What if he saw the professor come to life and he just like killed the professor? No, okay. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna set my control down so I don't actually push any buttons for this explanation. I think that the professor was apparently hanged. At least that's what we all thought. He was hung publicly, and that's what was said on the autopsy. That's what Dr. Scythe wrote in the autopsy. But I think he just went unconscious. Like his life was almost dead, but he somehow survived the hanging when they let him down. They let him off too early. So he was buried alive. Drebber came in doing this whole grave robbing shtick. I think the grave robbing shtick is here to stay. He saw the moment when Drebber, the professor, got up and trying to like get back out to the world because he was still alive, so he was trying to leave this grave as a live person. I think Drebber actually stabbed him. Blood got onto the camera, and let me just see this. Just grab my controller and see this. Does he have like? I don't see like any sort of knife on this. It's safe to say that I think like he killed him there, which is why rigor mortis hadn't settled in until much later. And the bloodstain left on the camera should be proof.
Objection!
No? Okay, well, I'm getting ahead of myself then with that. Or maybe... Hold on. Well, first, let's just save so I don't lose all my progress in this cross-examination. I mean, I had to try that once. He didn't. see here. Oh, you know what? We have something to compare compared to. We have like what he looks like here compared to what he looks like, and what is it here? He's got white hair. How old is this picture? And he clearly has like black hair here. And I think he actually I think it's brown hair because I think we saw it in the exhibit. What if I did get like evidence, so what if I like go through this again and it has different dialogue? There's some evidence. No. So we need evidence that he So what evidence could prove that we Hold on. I don't know whose blood is that. What if he stabbed him with this screwdriver? Hang on. We haven't used a screwdriver for anything. Huh. I know I'm trying to come up with these things right now that are probably not relevant until later, but oh god, dogs are going nuts. I might have to BRB. I'll think about this. Yeah, I'm gonna just go check out what's going on. This shouldn't take long. And I'll think about what the solution might be, a little bit. I am back. I told you that wouldn't be long. Alright. Well then. I'm just gathering my thoughts together. What can I present here? What proof do we have? Hold on. Well, that has nothing to do with the professor. We have the head. Hey, what if we give this? What if we give this to Tuspels? She can unlock the mask, and then we can actually see this head.
Objection.
No? Okay, that's. It was a wishful thought. I have 1 health now. I didn't mean to do that. Why do we even have this trophy? We really don't have that much evidence regarding the professor. Uh, we just let me just read what the article says. Give me a second. I'm not gonna read this out loud. And the next second, a gunshot ran out. Huh. I didn't notice that before. That clearly said a gunshot rang out. I'm looking over here, by the way. It says right there. Yeah. So he was shot. And he was shot and killed. That's his true. Does it? He doesn't mention anything about a bullet. What if I present the article itself?
Objection!
Yeah, okay, sure enough. Sorry, Mr. Trevor, but I don't believe that. Don't believe what? Your latest claim. You did see the professor on that night 10 years ago. Oh dear, we seem to be at odds, but I was there, and you were not. I know what I didn't see. The illustration with this article is drawn based upon what you told the journalist that you witnessed. A figure emerging from a tomb wearing an iron mask. That's a mask? Because it looks like the artist drew that as a zombie. This is not exactly what I mean. I presented the evidence and got a different result than what I actually thought it would be, but fine. I guess we're gonna bring that up. Yes, when the killer was tried 10 years ago, it was decided in a closed court ruling that the man would wear the mask to hide his identity. It wasn't to be removed even during his execution and the subsequent burial. Not even in the prison the wardens were to see the man's face. But obviously, the provision of this man was not public knowledge. So, Mr. Trevor, as you just heard, a lowly student of the University of London certainly wouldn't have known about the condemned man's mask. So unless you had actually seen the professor that night, it's inconceivable that the artist would have included the mask in that illustration. That's a good point. Order, order. Well, Mr. Dribber. It's a vile scene, isn't it? if you look closely. And as I've already been at pains to point out, I was utterly petrified, which is why I had it in my head that I'd seen a blood-curdling sight. But afterwards, I came to my senses and realized that I'd been mistaken. You're still saying you didn't see it?
If you're stubbornly sticking to that story, witness, then amend your testimony and explain exactly how you think your eyes deceived you.
Of course. Only too happy to oblige. I can't believe he's still not going to concede the point. What I in fact witnessed was a fellow grave robber at work. What?
Hold it!
Fellow grave robber? What are you talking about? Well, I wasn't the only one busy in the cemetery that night, you know. Other body snatchers were at work. Of course, when I saw one emerging from the hole he dug, my heart very nearly stopped. So that's the terrifying sight I actually saw, you see.
You're claiming it was just another student on equally insalubrious business as yourself.
Many other medical students would wear a metal mask to protect them from bacteria during dissections. Clearly, the fellow was using such a mask to protect his anonymity, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
There's more to the story, isn't there? Yarko goes on to say. The next second, a gunshot rang suddenly from behind. Okay, you are gonna bring up the gunshot. The bullet pierced the resurrected man's chest, whose breath stilled once more. We might assume that the sexton discovered the miscreants at work, perhaps, and fired upon one of them. If a gravedigger had shot someone at cemetery, I think that it might have been a rather big news, my lord. Ah! Yes, well, I can only assume it was an embellishment of bolted on later by the reporter. Oh wait, we got something.
Excuse me!
Excuse me. Madam Tuspels. Don't take it out, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh la la, pardon. I was lost in my thoughts.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Drebber's last remark was significant to you in some way?
I thought that is a little strange, that is all. And Monsieur Drebber can claim it now.
If you don't mind me saying, madam, what are you talking about?
When I've been to 10 years ago, to see Rosalie Dormitory. You're accounted to be at that your wretches in the cemetery, no? Including the gunshot.
Stop! You might want to watch your tongue, you know.
Objection!
Have a care, Trevor. That's no way to speak to a lady.
Gah. Please, Madam Tuspels, carry on. He's upset about this.
Of course. I couldn't let Mr. Drebber told me at this time. He did hear a gunshot behind him. The bullet hit the condemned man.
I said nothing of the sort.
Oh, you were very explicit about the details. About the mask that the figure is wearing. And the red that splattered over you when he was shot.
Enough. Shut up, woman. You're making all this up. Okay, the blood. That will do. Mr. Drebber. Yes. You refute the account just given by Madame Tuspels? I have no recollection of ever saying those things. Come on! Do you really expect us to believe you? Control yourself, counsel. I'm not permitting baseless accusations in my courtroom. Alright. Under the circumstances, I think it best that you supplement your testimony with a statement to clarify your position on this witness. Very well. Okay, now we hit him with the camera. It was no gunshot from behind me at all, nor any splattering of blood. I call you on your bluff.
Objection!
Mr. Drebber, do you remember this camera?
That's the camera from that fatal night.
Yes, we borrowed it from the House of Horrors. It's the camera you took with you to the cemetery that night, Mr. Drebber. And is that supposed to be significant? This kind of camera is rarely seen in our homeland, so my colleague and I were keen to examine it closely. We noticed that the lens extends forward on the end of some bellows. Like this.
Hold it!
What, you said hold it?
What's that? There, just on the bellows. It looks like a dark red stain.
That's right. It's a rather conspicuous mark here on the bellows, in fact.
Good lord, are you suggesting?
Oh, hey, Big Boss Man, how's it going? First time playing through. I'm trying my best. My voice is on and off for this game, so bear with me. It's fine today, though, I think. Yes, my lord, it would appear to be a splatter of blood.
So that could be confirmed with a simple chemical test. Isn't that right, Dr. Scythe? It would be difficult to determine if it was human blood, and not the blood as an animal. But yes, test whether or not it's blood at all is simple enough.
I propose that Madame Tespel's testimony was correct. That on the night in question 10 years ago, you were splattered with blood from the gunshot wound. Well, and that furthermore, you really did witness the condemned professor emerging from his tomb. Gah! There's simply no way you could have forgotten such a traumatic experience. In other words, the only explanation is that you're trying to hide the fact that you saw the professor that night.
Objection!
I appreciate you actually read the text instead of just sitting there not reading text in a game that's 99% reading. I tried my best. I like to read the text, at least the important text, and I like to voice all the characters as if I were them, even though I'm not actually a voice actor. So, and that's why my voice is sometimes really bad when it comes to these games.
But why? Why would I want to do that?
Well, not for his own gain, it would seem.
For who? Who could benefit?
Mr. Drebber is obviously lying in order to protect somebody. My goodness, is he shielding someone? No, he turns to look at her. Yes, my lord, and clearly. It's someone who doesn't want the truth about the professor coming back to life to be exposed. Well, counsel, who is it then? Who is this witness trying to protect by lying about what he saw that night? Okay. Pretty sure it's you. I'm pretty sure. I have 1 health. I don't care. I'm gonna take it. So, the obvious answer is Dr. Scythe.
Scythe.
Whatever do you mean? Imagine if the convict who'd been sentenced to death was not in fact killed. Imagine if that was to come to light.
What are you insinuating?
And imagine if the convict in question was the country's most hated mass murderer. If it was the professor. That would be an unprecedented scandal!
Objection!
This is beyond a joke. You need to point out that the dead cannot come back to life. What you're suggesting would mean that the execution never actually happened.
Yes, that's exactly what it would mean.
Objection!
Once a man is sent to the gallows, he hangs. No one could escape, not even Great Britain.
Objection!
But the fact is, there was a witness to the fact that the man did escape his hanging. that were really true, counsel, the implications of misconduct would not stop at the supervising coroner. It would taint the honor of the entire judiciary from the ground up. It's exactly because of those monumental repercussions that Dr. Scythe was sensitive to any demand made for her by someone who threatened to expose the secret, even if that meant being complicit in a crime. You mean... I meant that Dr. Scythe wasn't collaborating with Mr. Drebber's, or Mr. Drebber's wicked scheme. I don't know why I backed out and said, I was about to say Dr. Drebber. She was coerced into collaborating in order to protect her decade-old secret. She switched the dead body of Mr. Asman with the waxwork model and fabricated the autopsy report. And the foot! Lord Van Zeeks.
Pray forgive my freshly filled hollow chalice and a whole raft of other discourtesies now.
Goodness me.
It's just a sort of tall-tale Londoners were a joy I grant you. An executed killer rising from the dead. A Scotland Yard covering. A conspiracy at the highest levels. So let me ask you one thing.
What's that?
If the condemned man really did emerge from his tomb that night, only to be shot in the chest, who pulled the trigger? And disposed of him forever?
Well, I have no idea at the moment. Crap, we don't know who actually shot him.
We have too little information to work that out at present, I think.
I couldn't agree more.
The Old Bailey is no place for wild fantasy.
Did you just have a filled chalice? Why are you just now filling up it again?
And have you considered this, my Lord Nepenthes friend?
Considered what?
Do you realize just what a dangerous endeavor it would be to coerce this woman into such a criminal activity?
I can't say coerce in this deep voice that I'm getting Von Zeeks. I'm trying to make him sound like Von Karma, Manfred Von Karma, even though he sounds nothing like that. Just because his name is similar, but it's hard to say coerce in that deep voice.
It's tantamount to declaring war on the entire British police force and judiciary. Right. I had to imagine any sum of money being offered for research could warrant it.
To rely on some stage deception when so much is at stake would be madness.
I suppose.
This is no petty crime either. The victim was murdered. A man who'd already invested money in the venture and would be instrumental in future profits too.
Yes, I have no reason to kill Mr. Asman at all. Or are you forgetting that his death results in me not receiving not a single penny? The court is already aware of the contract between myself and the victim. No. There is this contract that's very true. Crap, I forgot about the contract too. Well, for this case runs deep though, I can feel it.
Using threats to force the heads of the forensic investigation team to cooperate is an extreme, especially for a government grant that he had no guarantee of receiving in the first place.
If that research grant was the aim, taking Mr. Asman's life would have made no sense anyway. Which means Mr. Drebber's motive wasn't money at all. He was just trying to kill Mr. Asman. Why? What was his motive then?
Your time is up, my learned friend. I say you have one last chance before the jury lose their patience with this charade. Let's see if you can back up your heady proposal, shall we?
He dodged out of the way!
How can you explain why this engineer would throw all caution to the wind and threaten his own country?
At this point, I'm not prepared to listen to more of this outlandish conjecture without proof. So, counsel, present your evidence. Wait, hold on first. I have 1 HP. Alright. Who exactly was Mr. Asmund to Trevor? There's a connection that no one's seen yet. And I'm going to have to present 2 pieces of evidence to show what it is. Oh! Okay, I think I have an idea now. Yes, my lord. The evidence that establishes a motive explains why the witness one of the victims dead is right here. Okay. Because Asmund. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm just now realizing this. Asmund's signature. I know. I saw Asmund's signature there, and I looked at. I did see that the signature matched here on the contract. I never realized that Asmund was the artist.
Take that!
It's this newspaper article, my lord.
That was written 10 years ago. Every detail has been examined already. What can it possibly tell us?
The drivel should never have been written. It's typical gutter press nonsense that means nothing. You didn't have any red text that time. Yes, on its own, it isn't particularly significant. However, we consider alongside another piece of evidence. It will completely explain your motive for wanting Mr. Asmund dead.
What other evidence?
Counsel, you present your supplementary evidence without delay. The evidence, which when cross-referenced with a newspaper article, establishes a motive for the dead.
Take that!
It's this contract, my lord. Mr. Trevor, this is the contract you signed with Mr. Asmund. Yes, that's right. The very document, in fact. That proves I had no reason to kill the man. No, I'm afraid not. But there's something very significant that this newspaper article and the contract have in common. Really. And it's the common link. That shows very clearly why you were determined to kill Mr. Odie Asmund.
Seems an offense has uncovered something that the rest of us has missed. So, my Lord Fred, point out what these 2 pieces of evidence have in common. Where exactly is the link between this newspaper article and the contract?
I think it just wants the name. The name! The name!
Take that!
What these 2 pieces of evidence have in common is a signature.
A signature?
A signature on the illustration that accompanies the 10-year-old article and the signature on the contract belong to the same person.
What?
As the court has learned, this illustration was drawn 10 years ago by the newspaper reporter who found Mr. Trevor and interviewed him about his ordeal. If you look closely, the reporter's signature can be seen in the bottom right corner of the drawing. And if you look at that contract here, which was signed between the witness and the victim last year, you can see that Mr. Asmund's signature. You can see Mr. Asmund's signature at the bottom. Let me see now. Good Lord, yes. Good Lord, yes, they're identical. I missed the last part and then pushed X too soon. In short, the journalist who drew the illustration and wrote the article published about Mr. Trevor 10 years ago was the victim of this case, Mr. Odie Asmund. Okay, I think I just cut the robot voice too far there.
But explain to court why. Why would that constitute a motive for the witness to murder Asmund?
Well, if you think back... Oh, Jesus. Well, if you think back, it's great now I'm getting a renegotiated robot voice. You'll remember that Mr. Trevor talked about that article in his testimony. Oh, yeah, and I don't voice flashbacks. I just let them play out. Because they all have... Man, I love the music in this game. Yeah, it's good. It's not as good as other Ace Attorney games, but it's still really damn good. his, his motions are just so funny. Oh, there's another flashback? Okay, well, I guess I'm getting a little more... Yeah, I guess I can take a drink while I'm doing this. At the time, you were a student of the University of London who dreamt of becoming a scientist. However, this single newspaper article changed your entire life. So, Mr. Aspen used to be a newspaper journalist, did he?
He did, my lord.
Now I'm getting all my voices mixed up.
In fact, it's widely held belief that Mr. Asman managed to position himself at the heart of his criminal network. Thanks to the many dubious connections he made during his time as a reporter.
So you had to give up on your dream and leave the university. You lost everything. Eventually, you found yourself working in the field of science, but only in the shadows. And all because of that article, written by Mr. Aspen. Enough! Stopless and is liberal about my life. What? Explain yourself, Mr. Tripper. Yes, it's true. I had to leave the university as a result of that article. But it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. What do you mean? Almost every student of science in the facility or faculty was too poor to actually conduct any research. But they struggled on with their hypotheses anyway. We all did, only to have them taken by vultures. Sooner or later, you knew your ideas would be stolen and patented by some wretch or other after all.
Good gracious.
Making a name for yourself as a scientist in a climate like that was a miracle only a few select geniuses could ever hope to achieve. Personally, I wasn't one of those geniuses, so it was hardly a... Oh, we have your trophy, dude! You liar! Being forced out of the university because of the locate was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Objection!
Mr. Drebber, do you genuinely believe that? Of course I do. Who better place to know whether or not I possess a talent for science than me? Sorry to say, the words don't ring true at all. How dare you? And I have evidence to prove it. How are you in a position to say anything about me? I don't know you from Adam. Fine, if you think you have evidence, go ahead. Show it. What could you possibly have to disprove the idea that I was happy to leave the university because I lack talent?
Take that!
Your science trophy, dude. Do you remember this, Mr. Trevor? We found out at your workshop. I was wondering why the world we had this trophy. Like, it's just a random trophy. There's no blood on it. It wasn't a blunt object. Opening it up, well, we didn't open it up, but there probably wasn't anything inside of it. Yet, no reason to have that trophy in our inventory.
Is that a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science?
What exactly is this trophy, Council? It's the greatest honor that can be bestowed on a young scientist, my lord.
There is no higher accolade. It recognizes emerging talent and promises a bright future.
Good gracious! Your prospects for the future were excellent, weren't they, Mr. Drebber? Because even then, you were a genius in your field. But you lost everything. You had no more future. Your talents would go to waste. And as a result, all as a result of this one newspaper article. I don't know when you realized who Mr. Asman was. But when it dawned on you that he was the same journalist who 10 years ago ruined your life, it's abundantly clear that you had no intention of forgiving the man. Do we have a breakdown coming? The truth is
he's going to fold.
What? What do you have to say?
Fine. Clearly, this has run its course now.
What?
I admit it. Out of it.
What are you doing?
It's exactly as the damn newsman said. That is crossed into going along with this man's plan to murder the victim. On the condition that he kept my dirty secret from 10 years ago.
I...
No.
Good lord! Well, we're not gonna get a breakdown? This is silly.
Dr. Scythe, do you realize what you're saying, woman?
It's all true. When I ran into the crystal tower and set up her cage, my heart nearly stopped beating. The memory from a decade ago that I'd done my best to bury deep inside myself. It was the professor again, staring me in the face. And then, before I had a chance to react, I noticed something else. There was a note tucked inside the mono's jacket.
Dr. Scythe, you will go along with my plan. From someone who knows the truth about what really happened that night, 10 years ago.
The instructions were there in the note. Every detail was meticulously written out. I had no choice but to do what it said. I made the necessary alterations to the scene, fabricated the autopsy report as instructed. There was really no other choice. It had to be done to protect the judiciary. I can only apologize now.
Why on earth would you buckle now?
Hell, there's no point trying to hide it anymore, is there? I would have done anything to stop it coming out, even collaborating in a murder. But the great lie about the execution 10 years ago has been exposed. Whatever happens, I'm finished.
So then, Mr. Drebber, what do you say to that? Your accomplice has admitted everything. Surely it goes without saying. You admit your part in it too, then? I admit nothing, after all. At all. What? Jeez, man, he won't quit. Have you forgotten that the kinesis machine was ripped to shreds by an explosion? Short of me admitting to a crime, there's really no possible way for you to prove I did anything wrong.
No!
We haven't used a screwdriver for anything either. Order, order, order! I'm just now realizing.
Whatever this man says, I admit everything. He intended to expose my secret, so I went along with his plan. And revenge seeks.
Yes?
I hope you accept my apologies. Whatever happens next is in your hands, of course.
I have heard more than enough now. I hereby present the final findings of this court. This trial is not the proper forum in which to pursue the alleged wrongdoings of Mr. Drip. What? The defendant is Professor Albert Airbrain.
Very true. It slipped my mind.
Isn't he one of your closest friends? As the court has heard, Dr. Scythe has admitted to the allegations brought by the defense, thereby absolving the defendant of any possible guilt. You mean? At the present time, it is the conclusion of the court that the defendant was not involved in any wrongdoings. Does the prosecution have any objection? Oh, we're just gonna say not guilty here now, without proving how he did it.
None, my lord.
Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruto. This doesn't feel right. You proved Mr. Airbrain's innocence. Without further ado, then, the adjudication. Unless the prosecution or defense has any other matters to discuss. Oh no, this doesn't feel quite right. Why did Dr. Sai suddenly admit to it like that? Is everything alright, Mr. Naruto? Like you said before, the way the trial is set to end now, the judge will certainly deliver a verdict of not guilty. Isn't really what we want. What the defense should be pushing for now is... Oh. Further testimony. I feel like, because we should try to find him. He doesn't deserve to go scot-free. I'm gonna say further testimony.
Objection!
The defense objects to the trial ending at this time, my lord. I beg your pardon. We demand one final testimony. What? You do realize I'm about to adjudicate in favor of your client, I presume.
What are you playing on now, my Nipponese friend? Or would you want to accept the conclusion of the trial at this point? No defense lawyer in his right mind would do that.
Mr. Naruto, what exactly are you thinking? The truth. I want the whole truth, and a way to bring it out in the open. Right! Yes, in hindsight. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, we're following his advice. Okay, that makes sense. So, Holmes actually said something wise. What do you know? I'm sure Mr. Holmes knew. He must have deduced that this would happen. Yes, I'm here in court to advocate for my client and to secure an acquittal.
Obviously.
But that's not all. I believe that I have a duty to the court to pursue the whole truth of the case until every last detail is laid bare. And that is why the defense calls for further testimony from Dr. Scythe.
Testimony from me? About what?
But the nature of your collaboration with Mr. Anarch Drebber.
In case this escaped your attention, I've already admitted to everything I did. The whole truth has already been revealed. So stop wasting anyone's time.
Ugh.
As his lordship made very plain, your client will get the acquittal you wanted for him. There's simply no point protracting this business further without any tedious cross-examination.
Objection!
Clonk.
Pray forgive my careless handling of that hallowed bottle. I slipped.
That's what you call it. What is your objection, Bullet Von Zeeks?
The prosecution also calls for supplementary testimony from the witness.
Don't be stupid.
If there is more to this case than has yet come to light, then I will join my learned friend in pursuing the facts until the bitter end.
You what?
Lord Von Zeeks. This is most irregular to say the least. However, as the prosecution also calls for it, I'll uphold the request. It's just like Phoenix and Edgeworth. Dr. Scythe, you are testifying for the court, explaining the full extent of your involvement in the murder apparently committed by Mr. Drebber.
Very well.
Well, I might. Well, I definitely stopped at an awkward time last stream. Glad that I stopped there because this is gonna because I don't have to worry about starting case 5 of case 4 today. That, oh, I guess we'll just continue this. I'll end the stream at when I finish the case because this is the last testimony I presume.
It all began at the scene when I saw the Raxburg and the note tucked inside its jacket. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instructions, was beneath the experimentation stage. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which is my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to address the scene appropriately. The truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state secret at the highest level. I had to protect it.
So I was right. The stage and the machine were all specifically designed, or especially designed for the deception.
So it seems, and all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy.
So kind of you to say.
What about this autopsy report then? All I did was record the location of the body as being in the Crystal Tower instead of under the stage. That's all. That's a terrible corruption. Only my team were aware of the deceit, and only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else has gotten you know you knew anything about it, I assure you.
You must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for a cross-examination, I would say. No, I disagree. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Just look at the expression on Dr. Scythe's face. It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following testimony.
What is it about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent?
Very well, if you so desire, counsel, proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Alright, first of all, save, because I've got 1 HP. From what you described before, it sounds like the note was anonymous. Do you have any idea of who was behind it?
Very few people that know about what really happened 10 years ago to start with. But anyway, I never heard of this engineer. So no, I had no idea.
Yet despite not knowing who was behind the plan, you went along with it?
I had no choice. Protecting the professor's secret is my only concern.
With the horses bolted now, the stable door will never shut again. Scotland Yard's reputation will be immeasurably damaged as a result of all this.
I feel so bad for Gregson.
Yes, thank you, Lord Ratsix. I'm well aware of that.
So I understand it. What you found in the birdcage was the wax funnel. What then was the victim's body? Imagine needing to save instead of just being omnipotent about knowing the contradiction immediately. I'm an old school Ace Attorney player. I save whenever I'm low on HP because otherwise you gotta go all the way back. I don't even select the options that say, oh, redo it the selected part and you'll get all your health back. No, I reload my saves because I'm an Ace Attorney veteran. Did I wait? Hold on. Did I read that line? Oh, I did. Okay, never mind.
Hold it!
So what you knew about the special construction of the stage used to carry out the trick then? Oh, so you knew about it. My bad.
It was quite obvious what expect happened with that victim and the waxwork.
Why did I read happened as expected? Okay. My reading skills have been terrible. My voice has been good, but my reading skills have been awful today. You switched the two over, didn't you? In other words, you record the victim's body as having been discovered in the crystal tower, and the waxwork?
I didn't send in by carriage to specified address at the specified time.
And why were you given such directions?
Presumably so it could be recovered by Drebber and returned to Madame Tussville's.
I see. And you put the bird cage back on the experimentation stage.
Yes, although someone obviously made a mistake about which cage should go where. I thought I made it perfectly clear to the team. But still,
I suppose you're focused on the victim's body, that being a more important detail.
Hold it!
Alright. What about this arranged? When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this. Yeah, the freaking. Okay. We're going into the screwdriver now.
yes, the instructions in the engineer's notes said something along the lines of fabricate some evidence to make it clear that hampering alone could have killed Aspen.
So you mean that was your doing? Okay, I see. So he was stabbed post-mortem by the screwdriver, and that's how. Okay, I get it now.
I fetched Henry's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage. Took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage has fallen.
Alone, Doctor.
I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception.
Hold on, let me just check something out real quick. What was the autopsy? Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart. Okay. The cause of death was a hemorrhage wound to the chest, according to her at least. Okay, that's what okay. That's what she's saying. And so oh, here we go.
There was a point on the stage where I found the birdcage lying in the dirt. I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. Then, I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest.
You know that in your fake autopsy report as a fictitious cause of death.
Exactly.
So, the actual cause of death was...
The trauma resulting from the 30-foot drop.
My word. What is it, Mr. Sato?
Something about Dr. Seitz's last statement. It's playing on my mind.
Are we going to say that he was still? Are we going to say the same thing about the professor that we, or about the victim that we did about the professor? That he was still alive and Dr. Scythe was the one that killed him? Is that what we're saying?
That's all.
Yes, mine too. Dr. Scythe.
There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well.
The defense calls you to add what you just said to your formal testimony.
Oh, which part?
Where one heard to supplement her testimony with this. Real cause of death, what you did to the victim. Oh. Huh. Oh, let's just start with... Yeah, let's just start with the real cause of death. I don't think I'm gonna get a penalty for this. The real cause of death being the fall of 30 feet. That part.
Fine, if that's what you want. Just stop yelling, please.
The prosecution concurs.
Very well. You will supplement your testimony now, witness.
If you wish, my lord. The actual cause of death was a neck trauma that Aspen suffered from a 30 feet fall.
Hold it!
I'm quite sure of that. It was as a result of a broken neck.
Yes, as a professional, that was more than apparent. Yeah, no, just by looking at the photograph of the victim, though, would you?
No, that's very true.
Obviously not. It is precisely why coroners are needed to determine the actual facts.
Yes, assuming they can be trusted. Wow, sick burn.
There's no point calling her assessment into question without evidence. Let's get back to the testimony.
Very well.
Do I want to continue with this? I just want to look at this. I'll probably press the other stuff later, but like... Wait, where is it? She says... Yeah, she says it's in the autopsy that it's the stab wound, and that the broken vertebra was because of the was just extra. But I can't present this because we're saying here that's faked. We also have this. You can see the glass shards in the photo. And well, there's the stab wound as well. Huh. Yeah, I'm just gonna get back to pressing, see if anything else comes up. The entire team in perverting the course of justice.
The team consists of the very best investigators there are. A minority from all members represent a code of chivalry of sorts.
You aid and abet a murderer, commit perjury, and dare to talk chivalry?
There's a matter of priorities.
What?
Nothing was more important than protecting the secret of the professor. My team did what was necessary without losing sight of the primary goal. I consider the conduct exemplary.
Ugh.
Don't concede the point, Mr. Naruto. You mustn't let her win.
Need a lawyer.
I'll take the silence as just tacit acceptance. Now can we move on?
Hold it!
Alright. But at what cost? Faith in Scotland Yard is going to suffer a terrible blow as a result of this.
No. Your precious secret is out now anyway.
Yes, as you say. I take full responsibility.
Me down, Dr. Sight.
That was the wrong voice, but I don't care. Surely there was some other way you could have protected the secret.
No, there really wasn't. I've done my utmost, believe me. In many ways, I respect your determination.
I can make a Undertale reference here, but my heart would just be filled with determination instead. Whew, I nearly frozen under that cold stare. She said that.
I do believe she was being genuine, though, Mr. Naruto.
So that's her story.
She admitted everything and revealed her full involvement in the crime. I do wonder if there can be really if there could really be much more to it.
Well, I don't know, but just have a feeling.
Do you, Mr. Naruto? The truth is, I find it strange too. How those two are reacting to this is in completely opposite ways, I mean.
Yes, exactly. For some reason, I feel sure they're still trying to hide something. Okay, let me just press this again.
Hold it!
See if I can get the other statement. Okay, I'm getting new dialogue technically. Yeah, I can't skip this for some reason, even though they're saying the exact same things. Okay, yeah, and they just skip to this immediately. Alright, let me... I think it would be appropriate.
Sure, you could ask Dr. Scythe to change the supplementary test which you gave before.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Alright, I'm gonna have her change it. Dr. Scythe, we said before about what you did to the victim's body. I believe that may be significant, so could you change your supplementary statement to explain that instead?
Very well. I stood over the victim's corpse where it lay in the toppled cage and plunged the screwdriver into the chest. Plunged the screwdriver.
Hold it!
So it was you who stabbed Asmin with this.
Yes, far easier than a dissection, I assure you. The precision required.
What a welcome change!
The victim died instantly from a snap neck. All I did was carry out the instructions I've been given.
As unflinching as ever, no doubt. I imagine you didn't bat an eyelid when you drove the weapon into his body.
There was no need to bat my eyelids.
What else did you do to twist the facts? Mind the court, why don't you?
If you wish.
Okay, we're going back to the statement. Hold on, I didn't mean to do that. The chest. That's stab in the heart. Which I guess is in the chest. What does it say about the screwdriver itself? Huh. Wait, I didn't mean to push that button. What about the cage? Cage. Well, I mean, you can open it from the top. That's probably what you... Can't... It's hard. It's probably hard to actually stab a man through this. I don't think that's it. Well, one thing's for sure. I don't want to lose all that progress with cross-examining, so whatever I do here, I'm gonna save. Why are these at different times? That's kind of... Oh, those are the seconds I see. What was the other statement was like... Was that the fall is the cause of death? Shows an apparent stab wound to the chest, yeah. was broken with the impact of a violent falling and stabbed in the chest with a sharp object. Huh. Well, this was found in the waxwork. Well, I wonder how, like, the glass ended up here. Did they just carry the body all the way up there and then take the picture? Yeah, I've gotta do something. I can't. Do I want? I'm in a tough pickle here. I don't know what statement I want. What did the other ones say? Hold on.
Hold it!
I'm gonna have to go through all this again. At least I should be able to skip it this time. So she stabbed a dead body, presumably. I don't think yeah, I'm not gonna be able to skip through this. Real cause of death. If we can assume that this is fabricated, then we can't present it. I feel like we need some. Hold on, let me just see here. We can get. Yeah, we can get a chance to look at this. Is the screwdriver somewhere here? It's hard to tell. I'm not sure if that could be it. Huh. I'm just gonna do that so I can get the magnifying glass off the screen. It's gonna distract me. I'm not seeing anything. Wait, hold on, hang on. I just realized something. The wooden cage that was used for the demonstration, it crashed down with the victim inside into the crystal tower, causing damage to its base. If the actual cause of death was the neck trauma, then why does he have a broken neck? If anything, he should have a broken foot.
Objection!
Ah, I'm dead. Ah, dang it. Oh, great, now that's back to here. Okay. Well, I had a good idea there, I think. I don't think we can refute this. Or can we? Let me just look at the evidence I have that might be able to refute this. Oh, I'm kind of stumped here. The other problem is, like, how could he potentially have neck trauma in this sort of situation? Because he's strapped, I guess it's like the same logic as if you get in a car crash. Like any sudden impact will have your body like stop instantly and like try to go forward. I've heard like rare instances where the airbag could snap your neck if it hits you hard enough. Of course, he has no airbag, so his neck would just snap. Huh. Let's save this again. Sorry this is taking so long. I'm just thinking here. If the screwdriver is like this, like if I can find like the shape of the screwdriver somewhere, then that might help. But I haven't seen anything remotely similar to this somewhere else in the trial. At least we can get like a top-down view. I need to start trying some things here, even if I'm not completely sure of them myself. So let's just get rid of the stuff we don't need. We don't need the 10-year-old article, because that's talking about the past. We don't need this anymore. We're not talking about the killer's autopsy. Nope. I'll keep that. I'll keep that somewhat in mind. We don't need this. We don't need this. I don't think we actually checked this piece of glass. I never checked it. I'm probably not gonna read this because I'm not sure if it's relevant, so I'm just gonna skip through it. Is that the only thing on here? Yeah. Alright. Of course, the cage is definitely damaged on the base, and not the top. He was strapped in here. Presumably the cage went down. I don't know how it's supposed to go down. It supposedly went down like this, I guess. Hit the bottom. And then he was jolted forward like that. Before eventually resting like this. Or either by the cage just rolling around, or by someone just putting the cage like this. We don't need that. We don't need that. Don't need that, I don't think. Don't need that. I originally thought the arrow, the screwdriver was shot from the crossbow, but that's become irrelevant. We don't need this, and look at this badge.
Objection!
I just had a hunch. I don't know why. I don't know what the hunch was, but I had a hunch that it was the picture on that statement. But now we're gonna find out what this is. I'm glad I actually figured that out on my second actual presentation. I've got a nasty feeling. This inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth. What on earth is the matter, Council? Have you lost your tongue? What is this about? I apologize, my lord. Dr. Scythe, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point. That seems to defy explanation.
Out with it, my learned friend.
There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph. It shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death. Okay, is he going to actually explain the glass? That might...
Objection!
The court has already examined that photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it.
Objection! Oh, hey. Hello, Dean. How's it going? And let me just shout you out real close because he's a streamer. No, good timing. They're playing Siphon Filter. I've never heard of that game. But how was it? Go check him out. He apparently plays Siphon Filter. But more importantly, he plays a lot of the Yakuza.
The court has examined that photograph in depth.
Oh wait, I think I already read that.
Objection!
Yes, we have already considered it. That's true. Was that 98, dude? Okay. I wouldn't know of it then. But we now know the facts to be different.
What do you mean?
I believe we should let the defense explain. Where in this photograph would we see the alleged inconsistency in the witness's statement? The glass? I'm assuming that's what we're writing at. If I die here, then it's not that much dialogue.
Take that!
The point that makes no sense is
Is the one being made at this very moment by your index finger.
okay, I think I'm dead. Yeah, okay. Oh, I should have probably read that. Hold on. Well, we're dead.
Your roving eyes and wavering hand undermine the bold words you started with. And if you're looking for something that makes no sense, you're pointing the wrong way.
Thank you, Council. Oh, great. Oh, okay. That will do. No, that won't. No, no. I refuse. I refuse to say guilty. All right. Well, it's not that much dialogue. Just get through this. At least I can still skip it because the game is good at noting about this. I only played the demo in 2000, but the game is still confusing. Oh, what type of game is it? If I might so ask, I'm actually gonna save here, just so I don't have to go as far.
Objection!
Like, is it a puzzle game? Is it a mystery game?
Objection!
An adventure game? What sort of game is it? Alright. So... where is the... So it's not the glass. There's a bruise on his cheek. Stealth like Metal Gear Solid, minus being able to hide properly. Oh, okay. Sounds interesting. So that means Metal Gear without the box? Let's try the bruise on his cheek. No, actually, no. I think the more obvious thing would be like, why is he actually bleeding?
Take that!
Yeah, okay. Kinda. Look closely at the bloodstain on the victim's okay, good. 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 I did think I did have decent instinct there. That's just the way I picked it up. Clearly extends into a downward direction towards the man's feet. Oh! Oh! That's... Oh! And why is that significant, counsel? If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set up, that's entirely expected. Ah! Of course no. That's not what happened. Exactly, my lord. Dr. Scythe made it very clear in her testimony just now. At the point at which she stole Professor Airbrain's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after the grand deception was set in motion, when the birdcage has fallen below the stage of out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear that the birdcage would have fallen on its side after a 30-foot drop. And if the victim had really been stabbed whilst inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions. I never even thought of that. Wow. Wow. For it to have formed the longitude appearance we see in this picture is inconceivable. Ah! Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Assman, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Scythe, your latest testimony was a total fabrication. I knew it. I was right. Now I've identified that contradiction. There's only one way to explain the facts. We've all been under a great misapprehension here.
What? What sort of misapprehension?
Dr. Scythe, you claim that you were coerced into helping Mr. Drebber as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie, because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer.
If that is the case, what is it, man?
Counsel, you've clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Oh crap, when part of Dr. Scythe's story is shown to be a lie by the contradiction in her testimony. Which part? How she was coerced, the stabbing of the victim, the autopsy report. I don't think how she was coerced was the. I think she was coerced into doing all this, which is perfectly fine. Well, actually, it's not perfectly fine, but it makes sense. Stabbing of the victim or the autopsy report? The autopsy report says that he was stabbed to death and the snap vertebra was extra, but she lied, or she said that the autopsy is a lie and it was the other way around. Stabbing the victim. I think she definitely stabbed the victim. I don't think that's a lie. But I think, because I don't think this is a lie, I think that she is the actual killer and that the autopsy report is right. The the actual autopsy report is right currently, and she lied and said it was reversed in court. You say that you examined the body and wrote this report based on your findings. But that's a blatant lie, isn't it?
I'm sorry, but I simply cannot fathom what you're attempting to say.
The truth is, you had your subordinates do the work for you, and they authored the report. But then you wielded your superiority over them and claimed the credit for yourself. Can you honestly say that's not what happened? Oh, I don't think that's it.
Yes, I can honestly say that's not what happened.
Oh, good. Glad to hear. Yeah, we're dead. What on earth was the purpose of the Exchange Council? To kill myself? Okay, I'll try the other thing that was on my mind, stabbing of the victim. The answer was very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downward as it did, we can be sure the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time.
But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage.
Yes, it would, which tells us that the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection!
That's impossible. The man was dead, remember?
No, that's the that is the misapprehension. The birdcage fell from the stage into the void below. Must have hit the ground with considerable force. He just gets up. But Mr. Asman didn't die in the fall. He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came around, he got to his feet and climbed out of the cage. Just as Dr. Scythe appeared. If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. Mr. Odiasman's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Hairbrain. Nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It was you, Dr. Courtney Scythe! Order, order, order! Can this possibly be true? Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, wasn't it? You killed him? He hoped that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Drebber's scheme, the trial would end. Before you were accused of a far worse crime. Wow! Cold-blooded murder.
Oh, do shut up. You're so desperate now. You're making all this up. As if I would do something like that.
Objection!
This case became, like, really good. It's just in a matter of this one stream.
I assure you the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Nerd has established the facts using evidence and logic alone. Logic? Don't make me laugh. Sadly, your logic has a gaping hole in it.
What do you mean?
I would have thought it was obvious. Motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. Possible reason I would have to kill Master Asman.
Asman was involved in a number of criminal activities, from corrosion to theft and murder. But there is no known connection to Dr. Scythe there.
I'm rather relieved to say that it does seem somewhat far-fetched. True, there's no obvious motive, but there's still something in the back of my mind. I feel sure I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this.
He might have tampered with the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is a very different story.
Objection!
No. When you question what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Aspen, something did come to mind.
What?
What is it, Counsel? Enlighten the court at once before I save. Yes, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? Something that seemed strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time. What? I'm trying to remember. It is a particular object that explains why Dr. Scythe would have wanted to kill Mr. Aspen. The iron mask, scalpels, with a screwdriver. Scalpels? What does the scalpels have anything to do with this? I don't think we saw the screwdriver yesterday. With the iron mask? We haven't really gone over it in full detail. I'm gonna try it. It's the iron mask.
You lost me.
Huh?
I'm sorry, Mr. Naruto. Why the iron mask?
Well, of all the things I saw yesterday, left the greatest impression, so
Clearly you have no idea what you're talking about.
I think I must have said the wrong thing.
Forgive the interruption, Dr. Scythe. What my colleague meant to say was the scalpels. Perhaps that makes a little more sense to you?
Okay, fine. I guess this is scalpels. Ah, of course. Okay, at least if somehow coerced me the same thing. Did you say scalpels? It would appear that the word has struck a chord, Doctor.
You. Come on, out with it.
It was yesterday when we visited your laboratory. Whatever, I don't know. Either pronunciation is correct. Oh, okay, this is the flashback. I forgot about this, jeez! 500 scalpels, yeah, I forgot about that. Why are they buying so many? 500 scalpels? A month? At first, I wondered what on earth you could be using that many scalpels for. But actually, I realized it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them, disappearing every month from the department's accounts. Aspen's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding. Tracing the money from the investigation team's account to find out where it was going would be extremely straightforward. 10 years ago, when Mr. Aspen was still a journalist, and wrote this article about Mr. Trevor, he may well have stumbled upon information as he was researching the story. Information relating to Dr. Scythe's dark secret that he would use to rack money from her for the next decade. Her dark secret? Good lord, you mean... I don't know what happened on that night of that execution 10 years ago. But clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up. So in the end, you weren't coerced at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Aspen in the heart with all your might. Son is the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever.
You have never understand, none of you. What we've had to keep covered up all these long years.
Breakdown time? Or was that it? Looks like that was just it. as very little of the machine remains as after it was ripped apart by the bomb. The truth of this case can never be properly established unless you speak out.
If you decide not to, it's very possible that Courtney Scythe will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up to what you've done and tell the court the truth about what happened.
10 years ago, you told the truth, and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now. However, this is surely the chance you've been waiting for, to sever the hold that's fate's had over you all these years.
Super high voltage engine contains machine. I mean, really? It's the adult brain mock scientists that are the worst, you know. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have talent. They can't even get that right. And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypotheses, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. They make me sick. I cannot buy their foolishness. Careful, Mr. Trevor. I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it? So you admit it. You admit that was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim. Yes, I admit it. I did it all in the name of revenge. Revenge for the future that Mr. Aspen's article had deprived you of 10 years earlier. But the revenge you sought didn't stop at Aspen, did it?
Which is where that very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see.
The condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of those events was all true,
Then obviously Scotland could afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had.
So your plan required that you abduct that particular waxwork model in order to exact your revenge on Scotland Yard as well. Or on Dr. Site to be precise. It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Aspen turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he happened to have a paper with him. An article on the front page caught my eye. About the coroner who'd handled that bogus autopsy, being appointed head of a new forensic team. When I learned the news, my cognitive processes started to devise a plan.
what a horror tale.
He robbed me of my future, so I wanted to use the man's own wills against him for revenge. And have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hand at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I had to suffer. Well, your actions against those who'd ruined your future were justified as revenge, at least to yourself. Certainly, no one has the right to destroy another's prospects, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you? Did I? Professor Harebrain's only crime was passion for his hypothesis, but you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to effect your revenge. You knew that you'd be forever branded a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago, and his misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man. Aye. Lord Von Zeeks, what of Dr. Scythe?
The immediate warrant for her arrest has been granted. She's been remanded in custody, my lord.
I presume she will face trial in the coming days, along with Mr. Trevor. Most regrettable situation indeed. She's made great contributions to her profession over the years. It really is a hard truth to swallow. However, that is a topic for some future occasion. For now, Professor Airbrain.
Oh, yes?
It seems there was a great deal more to your experiment than you realized. However, I think we can assume now that all the sore details have been brought to light. This has been a very long, profound trial, but I'm pleased to say you are absolved of all guilt.
This whole experience has taught me a very great but painful lesson. I'm a dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered, and above all, a fool.
Professor,
I spent my life thinking of nothing but my research. This is kind of my believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to. It's my way like a talent. But the worst of it is, in the process, I caused all this pain and misery. Otherwise, two or far greater people than I. No, Professor. That's not true. What? Don't tar yourself with the same brush as Trevor. Whatever happened was his doing, his alone. This outcome is his fate, not yours. You're not to blame in any way.
Lord Von Zeeks,
The derision with which he has referred to you earlier, calling you a fool, talentless even. The man has no idea. To believe in yourself and work your fingers to the bone to realize your dreams, that's laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choices. Oh! Thank you, Brock.
so ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Yes, my lord.
is this court's expectation that you find the defendant not guilty of the charge of which he stands accursed? I presume there are no objections?
None for me, my lord.
Certainly not. This trial has really made me think, but is this the right decision?
It's utterly proven methodically and rigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever.
He's done, is he? Is it all over? I don't know what's becoming of the yard these days, and I reckon it's the police.
Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant
Not guilty.
and thus the courtroom exploded. Court is adjourned. It's over. That was some trial. Professor, what a splendid outcome, isn't it? Oh, it is it? Oh, it is. Congratulations, Professor Airbrain.
Mr. Nohoodle, Mr. Soddle, I am truly. Beside myself with gratitude, how could I ever think you know?
Just glad it's all been cleared up. That you realize you were just caught in a bad situation.
Oh, right now, you know. If I had already such grand money. Oh, I'm giving a whole lot to you. Everybody.
Well, that's very kind of you, but I'm just a student, so you don't need any financial reward. Your widow's more than enough.
Oh dear. Oh, what can I do? Aha! How about this? As a memento. The paper by my health hypothesis inside.
It's just a memento then. Thank you. I've been wondering, Professor. What are you going to do now?
Oh my. Yes, what am I going to do now? My hypothesis and my great machine lie in ruins. But still, it's too long since I was last in London, so perhaps I'll enjoy some sightseeing. I must explore the great exhibition whilst I'm here too, and see if the new exhibition hits me.
Oh, yes, that's a wonderful idea. I can't allow that. Oh, who the heck is this? Oh, hi. Lord von Zeeks, what are you doing in here?
Wrong. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Albert. Well, if I'm honest, yeah, it was terrifying. You're like a great demon behind your bench there, snarling down on your prey. You're one of the few true friends I have. I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution or the defense.
Sorry? Or the defense? Did I just hear that right?
I always knew that you had my best interests at heart. Don't worry. How will you show me around while I'm here in town?
He was. I mean, I suspected from the start. He wanted to protect him anyways, no matter what.
It's been a long time since we left the university. We have a lot to catch up on. Listen, Albert. In a few days, your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, you must head straight to Dover. I'll accompany you. What? From there, you'll cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. I've already purchased the tickets.
Yeah, that's right. The Reaper of the Bailey. He needs to leave instantly.
But no! Hold on a minute, Brock! What about the great exhibition? This is a chance of a lifetime for me. I want to look around. No sightseeing, Albert. Give up on the idea. Oh, sometimes it's hard to see any warmth in those eyes, Brock.
Lord von Zeeks. What's all this about?
A necessary precaution.
Yes, I think I understand. You do? Well, Iris told me that when you met Lord von Zeeks at his office some days ago, he asked how Mr. Natsume was doing. Yes, that's right. I remember being surprised at the time and thinking it was nice of him to ask. The point is, Mr. Natsume is still alive and well, even though it's been more than 6 months now since he stood trial with the Reaper as the prosecutor. Ah! You mean the Reaper's influence doesn't stretch overseas?
Those are the Reaper's sites meet their end days, or sometimes months after their acquittal. Spin the powder up till now.
But of course, we know that both Mr. Natsume and Gina were completely innocent.
True. Perhaps that governs the Reaper's actions. The truly innocent are spared. But I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend. Brock! Like the mustache Nipponese, this man should leave the country without delay. That's why I'm packing off to Germany at once.
Right. Did your friend's shaped package get any say in it? Goodness! Was this your intention all along then, Lord von Zeeks? Of court, where people think of him as the Reaper. This man seems absolutely merciless, yet sometimes I feel as though I don't understand him at all.
It's time to go, Albert. Back to the prison for the time being. Oh, yes, alright. Well, I'm missing out, Hordle. Thank you so much for everything.
Not at all, Professor. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Best wishes, Professor Hairbrain.
Well, once the dust is settled, you must come and visit me in Germany. Anyway, goodbye for now. No, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes? I thought you'd gone too.
We have matters to discuss. Can you spare some time?
You want to talk with me?
I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes.
In the courtroom? What? Well, that was strange. For some reason, I didn't get that sense of impending doom as he walked away this time. The enigma, Barack von Zeeks. What does he want to discuss, I wonder? The answer awaits in the courtroom, I suppose. He goes then. Are we just gonna be at our desk and just talk across the way? We never actually had a casual conversation in the court. Yeah, sure enough, that's what we're doing.
So, are you satisfied? You survived a guiltless scientist from a great injustice.
Yes, I think so. Jeez, there's no one in the stand. That's kind of weird. I'm relieved at least that the man's innocence can be proven.
Anyway, I imagine you've been wondering where my anonymity towards you Nipponese comes from.
Oh, animosity. That's what he said. Well, at first I thought you just didn't like me. Imagine you saw me as a pretentious child from an unimportant land who has no business being here. But now I think differently. Crap! Oh no, 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 no. I mean, it's not really that big a deal, but I just got a theory. I'm not gonna explain it. Clearly know our ways. So I would guess that some specific incident led you to your thorough dislike of my race. Will you tell me what happened, please?
Professor,
Yes, jeez.
I thought I'd never hear that name in this courtroom again, to be honest.
He took your brother's life.
Clint. My brother was Clint von Zeeks. 16 years ago, when I was still in my teens, he was already the director of prosecutions and a key member of the judiciary. I looked up to him. He was everything I aspired to be. He was involved in the establishment of the justice systems in foreign countries as well. There were exchange programs between Britain and other nations then, too, to share the knowledge and ideas. As part of one of those programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from your homeland, the Empire of Japan.
Oh! If it was 16 years ago then, brother could have been my father.
Of course. I remember Dr. Mikotoa as well.
I had no idea.
I was a minor at the time, training at the prosecutor's office. One day, Clinton introduced me to the 3 visiting Nipponese.
So, I've actually met my father.
He and his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and exacting the standards. It is my first encounter with the Nipponese spirit, and it made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects even, just an ever-growing list of victims. In the end, my brother became one of them. The last, in fact, before the case was finally resolved.
So sorry, Lord Von Zeeks. Truly.
Clint was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway. So he wouldn't have to want it any other way. He lost his life to the killer. It was his victory in the end. For me personally, though, it was a great loss. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. When I finally found out the killer's identity, the reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time.
Plain sight.
Are you aware of political events 10 years ago? There was a period of extreme sensitive diplomacy between the British and Japanese empires.
A new treaty was being forged, I think.
Correct. The Anglo-Japanese territory of friendship and navigation was being concluded. The leaders of both countries were deep in extensive political discussions. Which is why this particular killer's appearance in court was conducted as a closed trial. If the British public had known the identity of the killer, not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, but our two nations could very well have ended up in war.
Oof. What? A war between Britain and Japan?
But that would mean... Oh my! You mean to say the professor was...
When the trial reached its conclusion earlier, I thought to myself, yes, it's time.
Oh, I have this advanced dialogue still. I put my
Time for
controller
you
down.
to come face to face with this hideous monster.
Well, I did give him a deep voice, so I guess it sounds okay.
I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum. So see for yourselves now. Confirm it with your own eyes. The truth that's been hidden this past decade.
That's the professor?
Yes, that's him.
Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind. That the mass murderer, whose crimes shook Britain as never before, was Japanese.
Well,
Wait a minute.
we don't actually
That
recognize the
face.
man itself.
I
Oh.
feel as though I've seen it somewhere.
Oh no.
Strangely familiar.
Oh, he recognizes it too. What? Whoa, this is not.
Father.
What?
What? Father? Kazuma!
We already knew that. But father?
My best friend, Kazuma Asogi. After a whole year, finally his memories returned. As he stood there before me, Ryunosuke. Hello again. My friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba. It's been a very long road. Thank you. Thank you for guiding my friend here when I could not.
It was an honor.
I knew you wouldn't die that easily. Kazuma.
I owe you thanks, too.
I think this is our second time seeing a failed snap neck.
For taking good care of that in my absence.
Oh,
Yep.
Karuma. The great blade of the Asogi clan. Passed down through the generations. When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. The Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it. But then, when the incident happened, it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared. With this by my side, I always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
He's gonna take it back.
I've made it. At last.
Father. Are you saying... Surely not. You mean, you knew all this time? I'm looking at it. But... I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
Well, someone's gotta explain to Tuspels
Kazuma-sama.
what just happened.
Ryunosuke, we have much to talk about, but now is not the time. I'll be seeing you.
Wow.
That's
Just sudden to black.
all Kazuma said. Before he turned and left us there, in the courtroom.
So he's the living after image of the man who took down my brother's life, isn't he?
Yes, Kazuma Asogi, my best friend. Or Asogi, I guess it's Asogi now.
3 months ago, when Lord Strongarm introduced us, I had an inkling there was something there. Some connection.
Why'd Lord Strongheart do that? Why did he make Kazuma Lord Von Zeke's apprentice? When he was suffering amnesia, too.
The man was apprehended, even executed. But his legacy just won't die. That's the sad truth. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting with me as I asked.
"10 years ago, my grandmother took me to the railway station. We were there to meet my father from the train. For me. It was the first time I'd ever seen him. Poor Susato-san. All this is tied up with those painful memories for her, too. She's never talked about this with me before, though. This is going on long. It took time to adjust to having father around, but just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London.
that the friend he left behind us, that the friend he left behind a son, a boy, 7 years my senior. Father told me the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he's studying to become a defense lawyer. I wanted to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. As I'm sure you've worked out, the young man's name was Kazuma Asogi. So you see, that's how he and I met.
For a brief moment, my great friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon. But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time. As if great wheels had been set in motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter, but in many, it was the start of a new one.
Okay. Is that the end? Or, yeah, that's the end of this case. Thank goodness. That was way longer than I thought, but there was a lot to digest there. Hey, the demasking. I got an achievement. Yes, save my current progress. Alright. Next time on Ace Attorney, Chapter 4. The Twisted Karma and his Lost Boys. Is that what that said? And his last bow. Bow. Bow or bow? Okay. Next time on Ace Attorney, Episode 4. I will see you all next time. Bye bye!